Assalamu alaikum. Muhammad's Sunday Lectures, brought to you by the Nation of Islam, Muhammad's Temple, Unite. This Sunday's lecture will be brought to you by Brother Minister Haq Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum. In the most holy name of Allah, the most gracious, most merciful, who appeared among us, the black man and woman of America, in the divine person of Master W.D. Farad Muhammad. And of course, in the name of the man that he raised up as our leader, our teacher, and our guide, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. In both of their names, I greet my brothers and sisters and all those of truth and those that seek truth in the greeting words of peace and paradise in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, brothers and sisters. My name is Brother Abdul Haq Muhammad. I'm a member of the Nation of Islam. We are part of a group called Muhammad's Temple of Islam United, and this is our Sunday lectures. We are to bring you a message of truth and righteousness from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And wherever we open up, we always open up in prayer. But I just want to invite you to listen to us this afternoon, wherever you are. If you're on the East Coast, if you're on the West Coast, if you're in the South, if you're in the North, ask your family members, your friends to tune in to Muhammad Sunday Lectures. So as we are taught, and as we are always want to be respectful to all those that believe in God or whatever God you call him, we always open up in prayer. So I ask you to join us in our opening prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Surely I have turned myself to thee, O Allah, trying to be upright, to he who originated the heavens and the earth, and I'm not of the polytheists. Surely my prayers, my sacrifice, my life, and death are all for Allah, the Lord of all the worlds. No associate has he in this I am commanded. I am of those who submit. O Allah, thou art the King, and there is no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been greatly unjust to myself, and I confess my faults. So grant me protection against all my faults, for none grants protection against faults but thou. And guide me unto the best of morals, for none guides to the best of morals but thou. And turn away from me the evil and the indecent morals, for none can turn away from me or from us or from me the evil and indecent morals but thou. And O Allah, make Muhammad successful and the followers of Muhammad successful here in the wilderness of North America, as thou did make Abraham and the followers of Abraham successful. For surely thou art praised and magnified. And O Allah, bless Muhammad and the followers of Muhammad here in the wilderness of North America, as thou did make Abraham and the followers of Abraham. For surely thou art praised and magnified. Ameen. Again, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his apostle and messenger. Brothers and sisters, thank you for joining us this afternoon. And we have a very basic subject that we want to speak to you about. See, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was raised up in our midst to teach our people the knowledge of self, the knowledge of God, and the knowledge of the devil, the true knowledge of those things. We have a message that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave to us in this very monumental book called Message to the Blackman in America. Brothers and sisters, forgive me, I have a little hoarse or raspy voice, and I'm trying to get that relieved, but I wanted to give this message to you this afternoon, and my voice is a little hoarse. So bear with me with that. I'm going to take a little water so I make sure my voice could be able to penetrate so you can understand what I'm saying. My subject is Message to the Black Man in America, and we'll get into why we picked this subject. But before we do that, you know, I'm very, very stuck on, I'll use that word, I'm stuck on this here, on the health of the black man and woman in America. First of all, I hope all people are healthy, and I hope all people got a sense of taking care of their bodies, because the body is our temple. It's what Allah has blessed us with to carry us around. And if we take care of our bodies will take care of us. So one of the things that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us was how to eat to live. How to eat to live. Not how to eat to live as just some frivolous thing, but how to properly eat to live. Not eat to die, eat to live. Number one, no pork or pork byproducts. Stay away from the eating of pork. The pig is the most filthiest, poisonous animal on this planet. And it was given to our people during slavery. That's what they gave us to eat. The white man who enslaved us ate the best of foods, but he gave us the worst of foods, which was the pig. The next thing that we should be conscious about, eat as many fruits and vegetables as possible. In the book called How to Eat to Live by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he points out to us the proper and the best fruits and vegetables to eat. Okay? Drink water. Drink as much water as you can. Not all day long. You don't have to drink 8 glasses of water today, but drink water. 75% of your body is water. 75% of the earth's surface is covered with water. We are living in an atmosphere or a universe that's comprised of hydrogen and oxygen and methane gas, which is nothing but water. Okay? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that if you can find the first drop of water, then you can find the beginning to life itself in the universe. We don't know where it came from. We say Allah is the author of life in the universe. But the universe is so old. He said it goes back 78 trillion years. There was no recording of its beginning, so we don't know what the beginning or when the beginning was. So drink water. It is the source of all life. Stay away from eating meat, he encouraged us. It takes 12 to 24 hours to digest food, just in general. But when you eat meat, meat is so tough. Meat is so raw that it takes longer. And you don't have all of the chemicals and the things that's in your body, the enzymes, to digest it. So meat can sit there for weeks in your colon, in your stomach. He said, if you're going to eat meat, eat lamb or veal. Because the lamb and the sheep, they clean themselves. It's a better meat. But he encouraged us to stay away from meat in general. You can eat fish. He points out in How to Eat to Live, there are different kinds of fish that you can eat. But fish comes up out of the water, so that's a good thing. Fish swims in water all of its life. So that water, which is natural to our bodies, should be eaten. He said, eat fish, it's a better product. And lastly, he encourages us to fast. You cannot eat all day, all night, in between, you're snacking, and the body has to rest. The stomach has to rest. You have to digest that food. But if you're eating all day and all night, it wears on your stomach, and then it shows on the surface of your skin, in your eyes. You see brothers and sisters walking around, eyes are yellow, eyes are red, their skin is dull and dark. And I don't mean we're dark people anyway. We have melanin. But I'm talking about that unnatural dark look. Okay? When you look at the Muslim, he has a shine on his face. When you look at the followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we have like a serene look. And young men that I knew since the time of their birth, I see in my community, they tell me all the time, brother, you look good, brother. You got you look so well. He said, some of them tell me, he said, you look older, I look older than you. He said, I'm only 25 and 30 years old. You know? So these are the effects of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We should fast because fasting cleanses the blood. You abstain from food and then you feel better. And it detoxes a lot of the poisons because it's very, very hard, brothers and sisters, to stay away from a lot of the foods that we get because they are all injected with all kind of insecticides and herbicides and all kinds of poisons in those foods. So the best thing we can do, because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad knew that we couldn't, even though we ate the best of the best foods that we could find, he knew that still a lot of those foods had poisons in them. So he encouraged us to fast. Okay, now we got by that. We got through that. So just try to eat better, and you'll live better, and you'll feel better, and you'll look better, brothers and sisters. Okay. Now, message to the black man in America. Some of you might say, well, is that Islam? That sounds racist. In the world of Islam, we don't talk about any race. We don't talk about any ethnicity. Islam is a universal religion. That is all true. Islam message is filled with principles. It is filled with truths that can be used by the entire planet if they will submit to those truths. But Islam is not unnatural in a way that it can't relate to a particular people at a particular time. When Prophet Muhammad rose up in Arabia over 1400 years ago, may the peace and the blessings of Allah be upon him, his message at that time was directed at the Arabs. The Arabs was a backwards people. They were an ignorant people, unlearned people. In fact, they were savages. They buried their female children at birth. They sat around drinking wine and quoting poetry all day. Do that sound familiar? They were a warring people. They were fighting each other. They were fractionalized among themselves. Prophet Muhammad came with a message to unify them, but he came in the beginning to the Arab people that were there in Saudi Arabia. All praises be to Allah that we understand that. So don't try to put Islam in some kind of box. Limit Islam to one particular thing. One imam told me, and I heard him say on many occasions, you cannot comprehend Allah. You can't ascertain the depth of Allah. As you study, in the beginning you may not, but don't tell me and don't tell us we can't comprehend Allah. He wants us to comprehend his message to us. Okay? He wants us to know him in all of his glory and majesty. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me, don't put Allah in some kind of structured, limited box. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad once said, when they told him, oh, that you can't see Allah. He said, well, if he don't want to see me, then I don't want to see him. If you can't see Allah, then I don't want to see him. Well, you might say, well, it says that Allah is the seen and the unseen. He is, yes. He is the all-seeing, and we can see him. We can comprehend him. Well, you said, well, he's the unseen. It doesn't mean that you can't see him. It means that you will develop as a individual as we go along and we study. There's things that we don't see in the beginning that are working in nature, that eventually if we study, if we research, if we use mathematics, if we use science, then we can see his great majesty and his great beneficence. All praises is due to Allah. See, when it comes to us or black people, you know, some of our Christian brothers and sisters say, oh, you can't see God until you die. Well, I don't want to see God after I die because I don't know what's happening after I die. I want to see him here and now. Don't tell me we can't see God. Well, you are God, if you but understand. Okay, message to the black man. So the point is that God, at certain points in time in history, comes to a certain people with a certain message. Like he came to, gave a message to Moses for the children of Israel. He gave a message to Jesus for the people of Palestine at that time. He gave a message to Abraham, who came to the idol worshipers. Okay? Even Jesus said, go not in the way of the Sadducees and the Pharisees, but go to the children of, in the house of Israel, the lost sheep. That's to a particular people. Okay? All right, let's get this straight. Message to the black man. We need a message. Black men in America need a message that is distinct and different from any other man. I hope everyone is all right so far. We are not here to, disrespect anyone. We just want to deliver a message. The most disrespected woman on the planet is the black woman. I'm going to say that again. The most disrespected and marginalized woman on the planet is the black woman in America. Look at our sisters. Look at the way you see them on television. Look at the way you see them in the street. Look at the way how men outside of the black community come in and use and abuse our women. This is why every year when I came into the nation, I believe I went to maybe 9 or 10 Savings Day. We would meet in Chicago on February 26th every year, regardless if it fell on a Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Saturday or Sunday. We were there in Chicago to see our great leader and teacher, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And there was banners all over the Coliseum on Wabash Avenue. And there would be banners that said, do something for self. But every year, there was a banner that said, we must respect, protect, and uplift our black woman. We must respect, protect, and elevate our black woman. And that is something that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was drilling into our brains, because he knew that the black woman was the most disrespected woman, and not only by the white man or other races, but even by black men themselves. Okay, we understand that. And even up until today, that's still happening. That's a whole nother subject. We might talk on that one day, how the black woman is the most disrespected creature on the planet. But we are talking to the black men now. The black man in America, we were brought here in the bottom and in the hulls of slave ships. And ever since we came here, the black man has been reduced to almost less than a human being. We are the only men in society, black men in America, that is still seeking to be respected and recognized as a man. I'm going to say that again. We're the only men in America, black men, not just in America, but in the world, but I'm talking about black men in America, the only men that are still trying to seek to be respected as a man. We have black men that are billionaires. You have Tyler Perry. You have P. Diddy. You have all of these. You have Barack Obama, who was the president of the United States of America. You have all of these black wealthy men, men of renown, men who are educators, who are scientists, but we are still considered niggers. That's how they see us. We're the only men that's still trying to filter ourselves in America and be identified as men. I watched my father, who fought in World War II. He would always get drunk, and he would gather me and my brothers and sisters, and he would bang on his chest. He said, I'm a man. I'm a man. They had took his manhood from him, and he was just a composite. He was just a symbol of many of the black men in America. Regardless of how much we achieve in this society, they never see us as men. There was a writer by the name of Ralph Ellison. Some of you are old enough, maybe some of you read his book. It was called The Invisible Man. Not the invisible man that you saw in the horror movies. He was talking about black men in society. Although we are here, we are invisible. They don't see us. When I was a parole officer, I would go into white institutions. I would go into white establishment. I would have my shield on. I would have my identification. And they would walk right past me and not even recognize me. Not even identify that I was even standing in the room. It was crazy, man. And I would have to say, excuse me, sir, I'm standing here. Because they didn't recognize us as men. I would go into the housing projects where we would do our investigations and our curfews. And sometimes police officers would be in there. They would say, y'all going into these buildings with these scumbags, these lowlifes? See, that's how they see us. You might have a suit on, you might be an executive, but they don't see you as a man. So this is why the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said and directed his teachings to the black man in America, because he knew that we had been destroyed as men. If you look at the commercials on television, if you look at the magazines and you look at politics and jobs, black men are still basically absent from a lot of these visualizations, a lot of these depictions, a lot of these shows and the way they show us on television. And if they show us, they're even showing a lot of integration now. But when they do show us, they show us as soft. Or they show us as gay and, homosexuals. And you say, well, Brother Hawk, you against that? Well, that's another subject. We can talk about that. But I'm telling you how they depict us, how they show us. Or they show us as overweight, fat, and out of shape. The followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we were always encouraged to be fit and streamlined and handsome and well-groomed. Yes, sir, all praises is due to Allah. So when they depict our black men on television and magazines and television shows, it's usually comedy. You very seldom see a real serious comedy, but there are black men and women, and I must say, that do plays, develop plays on Broadway or off Broadway, or they write a script, or they have what you call independent films of serious black men, but you're not going to see that. The white man is not going to show you that because he wants to be the superior one. You are forever a perpetual slave to him. So that's how they see us. When we were kidnapped, we were kidnapped. We didn't come here like the other races. Today we're talking about many of the immigrants. They're talking about Ellis Island, how many of the European men and women came from their country to come to America to find a better way of life. We're the only people that were forced here. Everyone else came on their free will. But we were kidnapped. That's a crime. That's a crime. On the books in America, on the criminal justice system, kidnapping is a crime. Now, who's going to hold these people responsible for kidnapping us? The white man's heaven has been a hell for me and you here in America. We were reduced to lower than animals. Black men. Our black women on the plantation was used and abused, and they were treated better than us because the white man wanted to use, abuse, and control them, because if you control the black woman, you control the family, because the children are going to follow the ways and actions and thoughts of their mother. All of us, regardless of what we experience in our personal family life and the dynamics of our family, we always cling, you notice that, to mama. Because mama was our first teacher, our first nurse, our first everything. And all of us wanted a woman as we grew up like mama. You heard that song. I just want a woman just like the one that married my dad. God, man. Yes, sir. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said his message is to the black man of America. Not exclude the black woman, because in this book, which you need to get one, there is a chapter on the black woman. You know, my voice is still a little hoarse, brothers and sisters. Just let me drink a little water. All right. Just bear with me a few more minutes. Message to the black man in America. See, we as black men, because we were reduced and destroyed mentally by the effects of slavery and how the white man treated us, we didn't understand what manhood really was or is. We measured our manhood by how many babies we could produce, how many women that we can have sex with, how many women that we can abuse and use. You know those conversations that you used to have. You said, there's Veronica, you know, I hit that son. Yeah, we talk like that. Because that's the way the white man taught us. He used us as a stud. So we measured our manhood by how many women or how many children. And some of y'all are not even taking care of your children. Some of y'all got 6 and 7 children. And some of you haven't yet even seen some of your children, haven't talked to them. And only time you go to them is when there's a funeral or some other thing that has happened. Black man, take care of your children. When I was a parole officer, I had the father, the mother, and the son under my parole supervision. Isn't that crazy? I had 3 individuals in the household. Sometimes I just had father and son, both of them. There's no reason for that. See, you might say, well, I'm a man. I'm a grown-ass man. That's what we like to say. We like to say that, but that's just trying to reinforce our own insecurities. That's all that is. I'm a man. You understand? But what is the definition of a man? According to the Webster Dictionary, a man is a male adult human. According to the Webster Dictionary. That's a basic description. A man is an adult male human. See, that's a physical description based on the male species. But what is a man? See, this is why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had to come with a truth that he was given, which he accepted from God in person, Master W.D. Farad. He accepted that truth. And that truth was the generating force of Islam. Because in Islam, there's something deep and generating in the teachings that makes you stand up like a man. A man is one who accepts and operates responsibilities. Let me say that again. A man, that's just one of the descriptions. A man, a real man, is one who accepts responsibilities and obligations. If you notice during Mother's Day, the women get all the flowers, they get all the accolades, they get all the respect. When Father's Day comes around, the children maybe will recognize the father. You know why? Because they don't respect us as a result of our sojourn in America and what the white man has done to us, and then we allow the white man to do, and that we continue to perpetuate that. So they don't have no love for us. So our children don't see us in our light. This is why Mr. Muhammad had to come with a message to the black man in America. You have to have obligations, brother. You have to take care of those things in the home, regardless if you don't have all the money. Do the best you can with what you got. You must maintain your family and your home. That's a man. He doesn't abandon his family. If you can't get along, I understand there's times when you can't get along with the woman can't get along with you. The best thing to do is to separate. But you have to maintain your home. Because if you're not in your home, the white man is in your home. He doesn't have to be physically there, but he can be there in all other aspects. He can provide money from the social service or welfare. He's in your home in terms of the philosophies and your ideas from school and from other entities. And the black man, in order to be a man, you have to be a teacher. See, a true black man is a protector, not only in his home, but in his community. You have to protect them. You have to be a protector. Your children, your families have to know that you're going to be, you stand up for them and not let anything happen to them, because you are looked upon as the one that will make sure that they are protected on all levels. And you should be willing to die if necessary to protect your family. The animals do it. You ain't not going into no certain parts of the jungle, and them animals are not going to protect their children and their families. You have to be a provider. You have to get a job. If you don't get a job, get some kind of hustle. There's too much money flowing in America for you to be broke. There is no unemployment in the FOI, in the fruit of Islam. We were taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, no, we're not lazy people. We have to work. You have to be the controller in your home and in your community. It doesn't mean like the white man who controls with an arm of deceit and lies, but you have to be able to control what happens in your home and in your community. Because if you don't control, then someone outside of your home will be the controller. And you have to be the authority. Not a kind of authority that's dictative in a way that's evil and vindictive. Not that kind of, I'm in charge. Not that. But the authority that comes out of truth and righteousness and love. And sometimes, black man, you have to come into your home and roar like a lion. See, if you look in the desert, in Egypt, Egypt is a Greek word. That's not the name of that land that's in Africa called Egypt. They don't even call themselves Egyptians in that country. They call themselves Misraim. Mismarims. That's the name that they identify themselves with. And some said it goes back further, called the Mayat. Lower Egypt and Upper Egypt, or the Mismarims. In that desert, there sits a statue. It has the body of a lion and the head of a black man, letting you know that the black man at one time was the king and the ruler of civilization. The lion is the king of the jungle. And when the lion roars, the whole jungle shakes. And all the animals, the monkeys will start moving and jumping into trees, and the elephants and different animals, they scatter when the lion roars. So this is why the most honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us Islam, to make us stand up and roar like a lion. So the world will know that we exist and we're not invisible. If you notice, brothers and sisters, look at the black man. Because we are so insecure. We are at a state where the white man robbed us of our basic ability to be men and we recognize ourselves as men. So what we do, because we are so empty in that way, we enhance ourselves with all things outside of ourselves. So we wear a lot of jewelry, diamond rings, beautiful Rolex watches with diamonds and gold all around it. We wear jewelry around our necks and gold chains. That's the outer part of you. That's not who you are. We wear Gucci sweaters and Gucci belts and Gucci pants. And we'll wear a pair of $600-700 sneakers. If the new Jordans came out, we'd be the first ones to buy it. Because we are so empty and we don't have our manhood, so we wear our manhood outside of ourselves. And there's nothing wrong with looking good. I got a nice suit on. I look good. I know that. But I don't worship these things. This is just material. Because once you die, we burying you. We're going to put your behind in the grave. That's where you're going. And you're not going to no heaven after you die. It doesn't exist. Stop saying that. I'm talking to Christians and Muslims. May Allah bless you with paradise and Jannah. That's oblivious. That doesn't exist. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, when you dead, you're done. Ain't no coming back. You ain't going no place beyond this earth, but in the earth. Okay? All praises due to Allah. See, y'all don't remember. Some of you may, but one of the major things that Master Muhammad came to do, two things basically, besides giving us the knowledge of self, the knowledge of God, and the knowledge of the devil. But he came to set the black man back on his throne. He came to set the black man back on his throne of civilization and to destroy the spook civilization. To eliminate that very thought from our minds that there's some spook, there's some God, there's some heaven. And I'm telling you something, I'm listening to a lot of our people, and I'm listening to a lot of our brothers and sisters that are Muslims who once followed the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, some who still claim they follow. I'm listening. And I hear a spook concept emerging in their thoughts. I can listen to the language. That ain't nothing but Christianity. Christianity did such a damnable effect on our minds. It tries to emerge itself. Even when we say, if it be the will of Allah, we ain't talking about no spook. We're talking about our ability to reciprocate and our ability to respond to our very thinking and being. It is the will of Allah. You know, brothers say, well, I didn't get the job. That must be the will of Allah. No, you didn't qualify. Qualify yourself for independence. So we make excuses for the things that we should do and that we don't do. Inshallah, if it be the will of Allah. It is Allah's will for us to be successful. Now, there are situations and circumstances that happen that's beyond our control. And maybe Allah may have allowed these things to happen to give you a message or to give you a better understanding of what you need to do. But we are the controllers. We are the masters. We are the gods of our environment. So one of the things that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad pointed us to was a scripture in the Bible in Genesis. The word Genesis comes from the word gene, means the beginning, the essence, the start. Because he wanted the black man to understand his value. In the book of Genesis, in the first chapter, in the 26th verse, and we believe in the Bible, but we believe the truth that is in the Bible, not the falsehood. We believe that the Bible was tampered with and must be reinterpreted so that mankind will not be snared by the falsehoods that has been added in it. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was able to allow us to see that. And people criticize him and say, why do you use the Bible all the time? If you're a Muslim, won't you use the Quran? He said, my people were destroyed and buried and enslaved into the thinking used by the Bible. The Bible has been our graveyard. So in order to resurrect us, he uses certain parts of the Bible to resurrect us out of that thinking and gives us certain scriptures, and he points out those scriptures so we can get a better understanding and come alive spiritually. First chapter, Genesis 26 verse. It says, God created man in his image and in his likeness. God created man in his image and after his likeness. What is an image? When you look in the mirror, you see an image. It looks like you. It has eyes. It has a nose. It has a mouth. That's an image. You're reflected. So if God made man in his image, then what does God look like? Because we are men. We have things. We have hands. We have mind. We have thoughts. And after the likeness. What is a likeness? You look like me. Sometimes some of you have sons, some of you have daughters, some of you have brothers and sisters. Some of them look just like you. There's a little differentiation here and there, but some of you got the same features. The likeness is there. Okay? Some of your children look exactly like you. As the old folks used to say, look like you spit them right out. And that's why some of you can't lie. Some of them children look exactly like you. That ain't my son. Oh, he look just like you. Some people tell me all the time, they say, Brother, how you look just like your mother? I can't tell, I can't see it. But they can see it because they're looking at me. They see the likeness. So if we're made in the likeness or after the likeness of God, we look like him. We think like him. We have all the essence of God. All we have to do is recognize it. All praises are due to our Lord. See, once you accept Islam, once you accept the great principles that are in the religion of Islam, it comes with responsibility. You have to show and prove that you are a man. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad points out to us in the Holy Quran, in chapter 76, it is called Al-Insan, the man. And in that chapter, in that verse, he's talking about how Allah took us from nothing, from a clot, and developed us from one stage to another until we reach or have the potential to reach our perfection. He brought man from nothing. At one time, some of us was in the street. We were nothing to be spoken of. No one even cared about us. I told you about Ralph Ellison. You might get a chance to read that book. It's a narrative on how he saw the world in black men. How we are not recognized regardless of where we go and how we're presented. We are not at the table. We might be sitting at the table, but they don't see you because you're invisible. You're invisible in their eyesight because they don't see you as a living, everyday entity in the life of this world. And I still hear black people say, Malcolm X used to make a joke. He used to say, some of y'all running around talking about we. This is our president. This is our country. We this and we that. He said some of y'all be saying our astronauts. He said they don't even allow you at the site where the rockets are being launched because we want to identify. We want to be accepted as men, but they don't see us as that. As I move towards our conclusion, let's bear with me a few more minutes, brothers and sisters. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad pointed out to us in the Bible, in the book of Exodus. Go read it. Go study it. I'm not going to give you everything. You're going to have to go and do some research on your own, brothers and sisters. In the book of Exodus, the word Exodus to mean to exit, to move out. The first chapter and the 15th verse. Pharaoh saw the children of Israel, who they had enslaved. They were growing in numbers. And when you're outnumbering your enslavers, your oppressors, then the oppressor becomes concerned. Right here in America, black people have children or produce children, or our black women are having babies more than white families. This is why you see some white families take utility pills because they have three. You ever see white women that have 3, 4, 5, 6 children because they're taking utility? Is that called utility pills? And it breaks the egg, and it breaks the egg up into different life forms. And this is how you get 3, 4, and 5 children. In my family, we have, see, that's kind of unnatural. Only dogs and animals have 6 and 7 children. In my family, they are twins. But see, that's kind of natural. But when you have 4, 5, 6, 7 children, 8 children, that's unnatural. These women are taking the pill because they see us growing, having more children to them. For every, they said for every white person on the earth, there's about 10 black people. And in America, they said by the year 2050 or 2080, we will outnumber them in terms of our population. So white people are concerned about their population and our growing numbers. So in the book of Exodus, Pharaoh, the ruler, recognized that all of these children of Israel were being produced. And he said, they are growing among us. He said, let's deal with them wisely. He said, for every male child that is born, kill the male and save the female. Why kill the male? Because the male represents the sperm, represents the reproduction, represents the protector, represents the warrior, represents the one who takes on obligations and responsibility. You kill that male, then we can control everything among the children of Israel. Why save the female? Because the female is the first teacher. The female is the first nurse. The children are going to follow the female. I saw in one of the history books that I have on the enslavement of black people in America, they have a picture of black men in chains. Their feet are chained, their arms are chained, they got chains around their neck. The women are chained. They have chains on their arms and legs, some of them around their waist with a chain hanging, and the slave master is controlling the chain. But I noticed the children didn't have chains. Why? And I pointed out to my children, I said, listen, why don't the children have chains? He said, they don't need chains because they're going to follow what the parents are doing. They don't need a chain because they're going to automatically follow instinctively what their parents are doing. Okay? So Pharaoh said, let's deal with them wisely. So this is why you see today, black women, we love our black women. Never stop loving them. Are getting all the jobs, they're on television, they're getting all, they're in politics, and they want to do the right thing. But politics is such a cesspool that once you get in, even though you go in with the intention to do good things, you're being touched. That slime, that decadence is just all around it, saturated in the political arena. So they give them all the jobs. You see them on television. You see the housewives and they're fighting each other. They're wearing these long hair nails and eyelashes and they're attacking each other. They're barely dressed. Their breasts are out. Their legs are open. That's your woman, brother. And then, see, the idea for the liberation of a people comes out of the mind and thinking and the brain cells of the black man, of the male. Okay? Whenever there's a revolution, it usually is birthed in the minds of the male. And the woman is the supporter, is to help guide and help maintain things. But the man is the one whose idea. So this is why Pharaoh wanted to kill the black man or kill the male. In the very sperm, in the very seed of the black man is the essence for liberation. And it's not that black women don't have those kind of things, but God has put it in a way with a man, even in my own community, that the man is the one that carries that. I noticed that these politicians, these white women, these white men and white institutions, they will hire black women and won't even ask black men to do anything. And they parade our women like they're hoes and bitches and prostitutes. And I don't like that. I hate the way we allow ourselves to be used, and I hate the way we allow the white man to use us and the way he uses us. Do you notice that in the church, there are more black women in the church? You ever thought why? Stand outside of a church on a Sunday, stand across the street. You'll see dozens of black women going into the church, and maybe one or two men. And men, some of the men that's in the church, or either they're playing drums or they're on the organ, or homosexual. Yes. Some of my friends said they were molested when they were growing up in the church by the deacon, by the choir director. Yes. But The black women, you know why black women are in the church? They're looking for a man. When they say, oh, Jesus, they're looking for a man. Jesus represents a man to them that they don't see in the street. But black men have a whole nother perspective. They are looking to be a man. So this is why in the Nation of Islam from 1930, there was a lot of black men coming out of prison, coming from different aspects in the community that gravitated to the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad because it made them feel like a man. What attracted me to the nation, I wasn't in the church. My mother didn't force me to go to church. I saw the brotherhood of Islam, which is the greatest brotherhood I ever experienced, was in the Nation of Islam. I seen captains and ministers I was under that took me under their wing and developed me, and they were like my mentors because they were being taught the truth of Islam, which made them into men. The white man has killed us, but Islam, the teachings of Islam, heals us from our sin-sick souls. And a lot of us, we came with these crazy, evil, sinister, sick characteristics. But Islam was able to reduce it and diminish it so we can have a chance to, to heal ourselves and be better men and women. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad put us in a class called the Fruit of Islam. Why a fruit? The best part of the fruit is the seed, so we can reproduce ourselves. Fruit, any kind of fruit, has a seed. Don't eat those fruits that don't have seeds because they're generated and they're modified and they're not real. They're chemically modified. But you get fruit that has seeds, those are real fruit. So the fruit, the best part of the fruit is the seed, because once you plant the seed, it reproduces itself. You plant corn, you get 7 ears. 7 times 7. You plant a seed of a watermelon, you're going to get dozens and dozens and hundreds of watermelons. So he said, we are the fruit of Islam, the seed of Islam. And in that class, we are taught, first of all, that there is no God but Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was raised up as a messenger to us. That's right. And that Islam has 5 principles, and those principles are generated in our life, and those principles make us who we are, and guides us, and gives us form and structure and law. Message to the black man in America. And in the teachings of Islam, and the messenger was sent to us, and he said, I met God face to face in Detroit, Michigan in 1931. And he said, when he met me, he told me and gave me the instructions on what to do to resurrect my people from the sleeping, mental, dead state that they were in. And he said to me, I love them. Love is an action word. He said, I love them. And when I heard the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in an interview say that, chills just ran to my body, because love conquers all. He said the name Fruit of Islam was given to the military training of men who belong to Islam in North America. We belong to this. It's not a club. This is not a fraternity. This is not the Boy Scouts. This is not no Masonic order. This is the truth. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad binded us together, and we came from all over the country. Some of us came from the South. Some of us was born in the North. Some of us gone from the Caribbean. Some of us were in the street. Some of us found us in colleges and universities. Some of us found us as cutthroats, as gangsters and womanizers. But he brought us together. Some of us light-skinned, dark-skinned. Some of us had straight hair, curly hair, kinky hair. Some had thick lips and wide nose. But in that class, we respected. And we had to be taught, and you did not disrespect any brother. We couldn't even play like we were fighting. You would be excommunicated from the Brotherhood of Islam. Everybody had to work. There was no lazy man. He wanted to break us together. And he hated when he heard that we would fight or disagree with each other, because he wanted to stick around long enough to bring us into a greater teachings of his word that Master Farad Muhammad gave him. And in the later years, he wanted to demystify all the kind of things that he was teaching, because we didn't understand everything. We are the men of God, and we have to be respected. Our children, our community. See, Islam is a motivating and a generating force that has the effects to literally transform you from an evil man, a disrespected man, to a respected man and a righteous man. Well, how come we're not Orthodox Muslims? See, the word Orthodox is a Greek word. You don't put a prefix on Muslim. Even with Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he didn't call himself no Orthodox Islam. He didn't call that Orthodox Islam, or you're the Orthodox Muslim, or a Sunni Muslim, or a Shiite Muslim, or Hanafi Muslim. You are Muslim. Message to the black man, to you black man, is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wanted us to be. Men. Read this book. Study this book. And I guarantee you, you will become a man. And it will happen in a process in stages. See, once you hear black men, the teachings of Islam is taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you can't go back to sleep. You may try, but this teaching will be ringing in your ear. It will be pounding on your brain. It will be vibrating into your very essence of your body. And wherever you go, you might try to slide back into that street life. You might try to slide back into all the stuff you were doing before, but something will happen. Something will happen. You will see something. You will hear something. You say, oh, there's Mr. Muhammad. There's that teachings. I was very close to a sister that was Malcolm's secretary when he left the nation. She was born in the nation, his sister. She's passed now. And she used to tell me, when Malcolm left, they would go places. They would be in a particular venue or some environment. And he said they would be walking and someone would say something, Malcolm would see something, he would turn. He said, oh, there's some lessons. Because it was pounding on his brain. He was birthed from this. Although he deviated and separated himself from it, but it was in him. He couldn't get away from that. So once you hear the truth of Islam is taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you'll never be the same. It'd be like, remember that commercial growth spray? Once it's on you, you can't get it off you. That's right. When Allah calls you, you have to hear. You have to adhere to that call. You have to respond to that call. You know what happened to Noah? Not Noah, Job. Yeah, Job. He was swallowed up in the belly of a whale. Job was he heard the word of God. He heard God's calling. They called him the reluctant prophet because he was trying to get away from his mission, his obligation. And he was on a ship trying to sail away. And the waves and the currents of the waters were shaking in his boat. And the boat capsized. And a fish came and ate him up. They said a big fish. And he was inside that fish for 3 days. And in the time he was in that mouth of the belly of that fish, he began to realize his mission and the calling of God, and that he needed to make his position with God straight so he can go on and teach the word of God. And while he was in there. And once he realized that after 3 days, 3 is a trial. Whenever something happens to you on your job, you got 90 days to be on probation. Sometimes they suspend you for 90 days. See, 3 is a trial. For 3 days, he was in the belly of that fish. They call it a whale, but in the Bible, they said it's a big fish. And once he realized that, the fish spit him up, which means that he came into his knowledge of self and his mission. And he was spit on dry land. And that is what we have to recognize, brothers and sisters. Once you get this truth, you can't run from it. Circumstances is going to, I don't care what you call yourself. Some of you call yourself this and that. You Hebrew Israelite, you Moorish Science, you Nation of Islam. Once that white man, the circumstances, he's going to be like a big fish. And he's going to try to eat us all up. But if we believe in the truth of what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, he's going to spit us on dry land. And we'll walk into the light of truth in righteousness and independence. And with that, brothers and sisters, I thank you. I'll end it here for listening to me this afternoon. I pray, Allah, that you got something from this. There was no way that I was trying to disrespect anyone or to be rude or arrogant, but just to give you a message, So after this broadcast is over, after this lecture, you will get some information on how you can become more acquainted with these teachings and how you can help, support, or whatever, how you can become a part of this. So I thank you again, and may Allah bless us with the light of understanding as I close out, as I open with a prayer. Please join me in the closing prayer. In the most holy name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. All praises is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Master of this day of judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do we serve, and thee alone do we beseech for aid. Guide us along the right path, along the path of those who thou hast bestowed favors, but not along the path of those whom thy wrath is brought down, nor along those who go astray after they've heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he whom nothing is independent of, but upon whom we all depend. And I bear witness that none deserve to be worshipped or praised besides Allah, who came to us in the person of Master W.D. Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his apostle and messenger. Ameen. Thank you again, brothers and sisters. May Allah bless each and every one of you with peace, the light of understanding. Assalamu alaikum.
If you believe what you heard taught today on Islam is true, and you would like to learn more, or you are ready to accept and reclaim your own, contact the Lost Foundation of Islam Muhammad's Temple United at 623-312-4352. Again, that's 623-312-4352. We thank you for joining us today, and we ask that you return next Sunday and invite your family and friends. We ask your support so that we may continue to get the truth out to our people. You may contribute by donating to our Cash App at $M T, United. That's $M, T, United.
The lost and found nation of Islam, Muhammad's Temple United, is seeking to unite with all of the believers in temples across the country. If you are a member or a part of a temple, or if you have a temple, contact us and let us unite one nation under one way of life, Islam as taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Don't see your city or state? Let's change that. Let's unite and put your temple on the map of unity. Let us not come together in unity in belief only, but let us come together and unify as one in practice. The time is now, black man and woman. Your nation awaits you. Assalamu alaikum.